Following Jayden Daniels' pro day today, Ian Rapoport shared a tweet with this photo, causing a lot of people to become highly concerned about this significant amount of abnormality we can see in Daniels' right elbow. And in this video, we're going to take a closer look at whether or not this is real, anything to be concerned about, or just a really bad Photoshop. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Sutterer, and my goal on the channel is to help teach you about the medical side of the sports world. So I saw this photo here, and I'll admit my initial reaction was that I thought it had to be a Photoshop. I thought it had to be fake. I even tweeted about it saying this thing must be Photoshopped. It just looks too ridiculous. That was before I understood all the previous history and saw some previous pictures, and I'll admit, now I think it truly is a real photo. But what is it? The two bones of the forearm are the ulna and the radius, and the ulna has a prominence on the back that is the olecranon process. So whenever you just bend your elbow, that pointy part that you feel on the backside is part of your forearm bone called the ulna, and we call it the olecranon. There's an area around that olecranon called a bursa, specifically the olecranon bursa, and sometimes people can get inflammation or fluid in that bursa, and we call it olecranon bursitis. That's likely what this picture is just capturing, and it's just such a funny angle position, all the torque on his throwing arm, there was so much swelling there that we're seeing this deformity in the elbow because that's fluid in the bursa of his right elbow, specifically that olecranon bursa. Now, I agree, this picture still, it looks like there's some abnormal shading around the biceps here. It almost looks like his elbow is dislocating whenever you take a closer look. But what's probably going on here is the ulna is coming down, stopping about right there. And then this whole pointy part is fluid underneath his skin, specifically within that olecranon bursa. Now, if we look next at our biodigital anatomy tool here, if we turn around to the right upper limb, of course, this is going to be the tricep muscle and tendon coming down the backside of the elbow. And then we have those two bones that I mentioned of the forearm. So right here, we're going to have the ulna, that hard prominence, the olecranon process. Then we're going to have the radius on the outside, and this little potential space, some people call them a little kind of fluid-filled sac, is going to be the olecranon bursa. And bursa are all throughout our body. We have them in all of our joints, and they're there to help provide some cushion and decrease the friction between where muscles and tendons interact with each other near the joint. So you have a lot of bursa scattered throughout the body, and sometimes these bursa can become inflamed, causing bursitis. Now, to make this even less likely to be a Photoshop or a spoof, doing some nice Google search here, reverse image search with that picture, we can find the original source. So this is that photo. It was shared in a story back in 2024, January 2024. But if you look at the date, the picture, it says here from November 4th, 2003, Alabama versus LSU, and we even see the credit with the USA Today sports team. So the picture, there'd be no reason why this photo in a story written 4 months ago would have been a Photoshop picture from back in 2023. Now, if we couldn't find any record of this picture further back, then I would say, yeah, maybe it is something that's been edited or made to look worse. But the fact that we can trace this back to a story with clear citing of the source from 2023 makes me even more confident that, yeah, as crazy as it looks, this probably is real. We also know from more research that, of course, Daniels was known to have bursitis in his elbow during that season and had some type of procedure, presumably to drain it. So we can see here in this photo, Daniels clearly has a bandage over that right elbow, presumably because they did either an aspiration or some type of surgical procedure to drain the fluid out of that bursa. And so everything still, again, lines up with that picture number one being old, and two, yes, being a real picture from olecranon bursitis. So then is it a reason for concern? No, it's not. There's no reason to suspect that this is going to cause any long-term issue, any long-term problems for Daniels. This is just a really funny looking picture. The momentum, there's fluid right there in that pocket. You think about how hard someone's throwing. It must have just caught at the right angle to where it looks this absurd and this ridiculous. I'll admit I was wrong on this one. I do think that this is in fact a real picture, but again, would not be any cause for concern unless there's recurrent bursitis. But this was earlier in the season, this was a while ago, and so I would not suspect any residual issues or concerns about the stability, the health of Daniels' elbow going into the NFL. Let me know any thoughts or questions down below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.